S.Y.S.M. Yo, welcome back. Another episode of S.Y.S.M. It's your boy Just Right, man. And I am not alone. I got a very special guest, man. Very special guest. This is my bro for forever. You hear me? I could list all his accolades. There's a lot of them. I'm talking about Mr. Andre Hutson. Say what's up to the people.
What up?
My man Dre Hut, man. I appreciate you coming, man. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, told you I'd get here if I was in town, man.
Yeah.
Definitely want to get in here and get on one of these episodes.
Yeah. Well, we here now, so we're gonna get to it, man. A lot to talk about, man. I'm gonna start you off early though, man. A lot of people want to know. Well, I know. I think a lot of people want to know. I think it's interesting. You had a hell of a career, and I just want to go down the path of how it started, man. Like, what's your first like real memory of like when you fell in love with sports or knew you wanted to do it like for real? Like, how'd you know?
Sports?
Like, well, basketball and football mainly. I mean, that's what you know.
Football started in Pee Wee football. Started with the Wee Rams.
Yeah, third grade.
Yeah, out at the aquatic club. We been practicing after the aquatic club and
right.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, so it's third grade for football for sure.
So you was playing football before basketball then?
No, I think I started both. I was playing basketball and football around third grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so right. Third grade for both. I started playing soccer before that, but
okay, so soccer first.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was probably what got me introduced to sports for sure. But yeah.
Did you have a favorite at the time? At that age, did you have a favorite? Was it basketball over football, football over basketball, or soccer?
Yeah, probably football.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
initially, yeah.
At that point, when you winning,
we was cold.
When you winning,
yeah, I really
not to like that.
I really, honestly, I put our Pee Wee team up against any Pee Wee team all the time. I really do. That's just me personally. But Trotwell Wee Rams. Back in the day. Check for what year was that? Graduated 97, so about 90.
We took some L's too.
We took some, but listen, man. I remember one of the L's we took. They had to go get a little all-star team to beat us out, and like Hubert Heights or something. You don't remember that?
Yeah,
I remember that. But let's get to this though, because when you're talking about football, right? You were quarterback, but that ain't what you wanted to be at first. I remember you really wanted to be a receiver.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to play receiver.
You wanted to play receiver, and you ended up playing the quarterback. And I think once, probably Coach Perry or something seen that, they was like, "Fuck that receiver dream." Like it's all about the quarterback. They liked you at that position.
More so in middle school. When we went to middle school, I wanted to try to transition over to receiver.
Okay, that's when you really wanted to go to receiver.
Yeah, nobody at that point. I played quarterback for the
right.
Well, at least 2 seasons, 1 or 2 seasons, and nobody wanted to step up at that point.
You see, you might not remember like me, but do you remember like at first? Then we had like Matt Class and I think Rodney Townsend. Mm-hmm. They played quarterback first, and then you ended up being the quarterback.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
right.
Okay, I remember it correctly then.
Yeah, I was my weight. I was too heavy first couple years, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first year, I didn't make the weight.
Okay.
So I played on the line.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's news. I didn't know that. I think that's where our connection started was Pee Wee football.
Right.
I think I remember the first time. I don't know if we was late to a game or something, but I just remember me, you, and our moms riding to the game together, and then the rest is history. I mean, that's just really as the story goes. Like the rest is history after that. So, yeah, man. So Pee Wee football, we ran through that, and you was playing for, as far as basketball, you had Madison Park.
Yep, Madison Park, played at the Y, and then I started playing with Dayton Parkside. That was my AAU team.
Yeah. I remember you would go on those tournaments, like through elementary, like, and maybe even junior high when you would come back in the summer, and I asked you stuff like, so how'd y'all do? And y'all might not have won, but and that's what you would go to first. Y'all didn't win. You were always, team first. And I asked you how you did, and you would tell me like what your best game was, but you would say it so humbly. Like I had 40 and I think 20 or something one time. I'd be geeked for it. Yeah, like you didn't even care. This should be crazy to me. Like that shit used to be amazing to me. But you probably seen a lot of guys in that AAU.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it was at. You know what I mean? You play AAU, you run into a lot of kids across the country.
Right.
We was lucky to travel. I think we started traveling in 5th grade. Or I started traveling in 5th grade, 4th, 5th grade, and yeah, man, it was crazy. I had some good games. I don't know if I was dropping 40 and 20, but I was having.
Yeah, I honestly remember you saying those numbers, but
I did have one game, but that was like in high school. I think it was.
You was older when you did that. Okay. It might have been older. So I don't want to.
Where we staying back? Where we at right now? I'm still back in like 5th grade. You know. What
I mean? I done jumped from 5th to we in elementary. Yeah, we ain't got the junior high yet, so we on the way to junior high. I'm trying to fly through it really quick. So we go from junior high. I mean from elementary, Madison Park. You know what I'm saying? Pee Wee football. You know what I'm saying? That's where it started. Then we got to junior high, and we just basketball wise, we had a pretty decent squad. I don't think we did we lose?
Yeah, we lost. We lost to
Fairview.
Lost to Fairview. Yep.
We lost to Fairview.
Yep. 7th and 8th grade.
7th and 8th grade, they whooped us.
Yep.
Our house and their house. They whooped us. Yeah, but
20 both times.
Yeah, I remember. But and so I remember, football. That was our first taste of because the basketball side, them couple losses you would still define us as successful as far as in junior high the basketball team. That was really good teams. Football was the first time I really experienced a decline. Like you remember, like it wasn't as good like in junior high as we were coming from elementary and Pee Wee. We was running through that, and then it got a little tougher.
Yeah. Some of them teams got a little better.
Yeah, so.
I don't know if they got better, we got worse, but yeah. Our numbers were low too. We only had like 13, 14 kids on the team.
We didn't have a deep squad. I remember that, but I remember mainly 8th grade is when I made my decision. Before the season even got started, remember I quit, and I always it's like one of the biggest. You might not even know that, but it's one of the biggest regrets ever for me.
Right.
Like that I even quit because I feel like I accepted quitting. Like, what I'm saying? I should have never quit. Should have just played through whatever it was I didn't like. I should have played through that.
Right.
But I remember the decision was probably even going into 8th grade. We wasn't playing in high school. Like that's what young. That was our mindset. But we was not going to play in high school. Mm-hmm. Do you remember how you ended up deciding to play?
Yeah. Yeah, Coach sitting there chilling with you. Coach Dennis came up to the door.
That patio door, and we knew it was him.
Yeah, exactly. Because he was a new coach.
He was a new coach.
He just took over. It was a white guy.
Right.
When was the last white coach we'd seen in Trotwood?
Right, come through the station, just knocking on the door
at
the glass patio door, and he had the bike shorts on. He had the
little coach shorts.
Yeah, I already knew what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, he came. He gave me the playbook. He asked if I was coming out. That was the summer going into our freshman year.
Yeah.
We both said we weren't going to play football.
Mm-hmm.
I was riding with you,
I think he ended up asking you to come throw some passes with him or something.
Yeah, he wanted me to come to some session or something. He gave me the playbook, and that definitely sparked my interest a little bit more to go back out there. So.
Right. Yeah, I never got interested. I wish I would have, though.
Yeah, he didn't give you no playbook.
Yeah, he was. I ain't get the playbook, but it's all good. So you end up walking into a situation that you wasn't even expecting to go through. You was actually expecting not to do it. You was only going to focus on basketball. I remember that vividly. And then Coach Dennis comes, so you decide you're going to go ahead and play. And did you know at that time that you was going to end up being the starting quarterback as a freshman?
No, that was a surprise. I didn't get that nod until the week before the first game. We had 2 scrimmages, and then the week before the first game, Coach called me in the office and said, the quarterback at the time, basically gave me the position.
Yeah, Marlon. Yeah, Marlon Howard.
Yeah, Marlon Howard.
Yeah, shout out Marlon.
Yeah, he was like. He said, "You ready?" I told Coach I think you should start, and Coach agreed.
Yeah, so he moved positions. So
he was good. He was a good safety. Mm-hmm. He was a good safety anyway. So
that was cool because he was a senior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really that was big of him.
Yep.
So you go and you get a taste of the football life. Was initially were you loving it? Did you enjoy it? Being a high school quarterback.
Yeah, I enjoyed football, man. When I look back at my football experience, it was one of my best memories. I enjoyed playing a lot. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way I would have hoped it would have. From that point, but having that experience as a freshman, playing varsity football and having the opportunity to grow over the next few years at that position was right. It was nice. It was special. So it was fun while it lasted.
Right. While it lasted. So let me ask you this, because you went from the field again back to the court, and it's a lot of kids do this. I mean, I'm not trying to make it seem like you like one of a kind, like playing two sports, but I mean you did it at a really high level. If you don't know that, I'm telling you did it at a really high level. So when you go into the high school, but we in high school, but when you go inside to play basketball as a freshman, you didn't play freshman, or did you play reserve, or did you go straight to varsity? I honestly don't remember.
I played JV.
You played JV?
JV and
dress varsity initially? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Well, I got hurt my freshman year in football. I broke my wrist.
I remember
about halfway through the season, so I kind of missed the beginning, the tryouts of basketball. I was still recovering from my broken wrist at that time.
Okay.
So,
man, okay.
It was good. I mean, it was good for me because I got a lot of playing time on JV, and I got a chance to dress and, get a little bit of varsity action here and there. Nothing major, nothing that anybody would remember, but I got that experience.
You had some pretty big guys to go up against, too, like that was playing varsity at the time, like Lumpkin and
we had a good team.
Windex, Harith Aubrey, I remember. And you know what, the risks, clearly I remember going to the hospital with you at night, but I remember I thought it was sophomore year for whatever reason. That was our freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then the next year, sophomore year, you come back football. It wasn't no injuries. I think you that's probably when you sparked most of your interest from a lot of people, because I think you was killing them that year. I know you was.
Yep. Had a big sophomore year. Mm-hmm. A lot of expectations coming off the prior season. So we had we didn't have the greatest season. We probably had a letdown in that sense, but it was still a good year. It was a decent year.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel that type of pressure? Like like when you said the word expectations. Like, did you feel the pressure to be like what they people would hype you up to be? I mean, you used to be in the papers and everything as far as being a court. I remember Channel 7 News interview with you from back then. Talk about you coming up being the high school. You probably don't even remember that day.
Yeah, I mean,
you do.
Yeah.
But I just remember them coming to Trotwood and talking to you. Like, do you
right? Yeah, they
did you feel the
pressure?
No,
it wasn't pressure. It was at that age, it's exciting to get that attention. You know what I mean? It's like it gives you a little confidence, and a little I don't know. It kind of gave me confidence to go out there and be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never asked you that, so that's interesting. So then by junior year, I mean, like you said, that it was kind of a letdown that year. You had a good year individually, but wasn't winning that much. What was the record freshman year? Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay, all right.
I want to start
throwing
out numbers out there and be wrong, because I don't.
Right.
It wasn't good. It wasn't better than 500. I would say that it was 500 or less.
Right. It was the
wasn't the winning season.
Right. What about the sophomore year? The record, was it better than the freshman year?
No.
So no, it was a decline. So that's what I'm getting to. Junior year, it was even worse.
Oh yeah, junior year was worse. Well, yeah.
Oh, it was worse.
Yeah. Junior year was worse.
Yeah, it was worse. I remember. I'm just trying to make you see if you remember. I definitely remember. It wasn't
bad.
Good.
I mean, I don't know I don't remember the record, but I don't remember it being a good experience. If that's what you're asking. Yeah, it was
individually. Like, I remember.
Yeah, I had a good season. I mean,
you played well
personally. Yeah.
Right, but it wasn't a good year for Trotwood as a team. So I'm just gonna go through football, and then I'm gonna go into basketball. So so by senior year, you had made the decision that you weren't going to play anymore.
Correct.
Do you know how many people would come to me and tell me I had to talk to you and try to get you to play? And I'm like, man, what do y'all expect me to do. I have tried to tell him, no, he's not playing though. I don't even want to get into those stories about how people would. I mean, because it was a real thing. They would really ask me to try to talk to you. But what made you decide not to play?
Basically, what I told you, I wanted to focus on basketball. Yeah. That's what I told everybody at that time. I want to focus on basketball. I mean, I always felt coming out of the football season, I was behind in basketball to some degree. You know what I mean? My body movements felt awkward, or it just took me like a month to adjust to basketball. You know what I mean? And it was a time where I was trying to get recruited. It was the summer coming out of my junior year. I had a lot of AAU and. I already made my decision. I was trying to go hoop somewhere, so that's what it was going to be.
Right. I'm with you. So you're not playing. You decide you're not going to play. You're going to focus on basketball. And I don't know if you remember this, but because you were getting recruited for football. Like, I mean, I know you remember that, but you were getting recruited for football. But let me ask you this first. This is a question from one of the podcast listeners that knew I was going to be doing this interview. They wanted me to ask you, what were the do you remember like the top schools that may have been recruiting you for football? Like Ohio Northern or Miami University or something? Who was the top schools, bro? You had a kick out of that one.
Yeah, I Nebraska was recruited me pretty hard. Ohio State pretty heavily. Tennessee pretty hard. West Virginia. But it was a tons, man. I mean, I can't. At that time, you get flooded with letters. It's,
right, I got you.
I was getting a ton of letters.
Right. What about, do you remember this? This was our senior year. We had lunch. And I don't remember who it had to be. I don't know if it was Toby the coach senior year?
Yeah, he was the coach my junior year and our senior year.
Okay, so it might have been Toby that came into the lunchroom, but I believe at least it was Notre Dame that came to the school, and we was in lunch, and I remember you was not happy about that.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that shit was funny. I remember because I knew at that point. By the time that happened, I remember definitively you was not playing. Like it was nothing he was going to be able to do for you to be able to play. So the football career is done at that point. It was a lot of people, man. I'm talking about. I remember the fans. It was a group of older gentlemen. You remember those guys? I remember they would come to the games faithfully, and I think we would still go to the games. You know what I'm saying? Like we going to the football games, and I remember them trying to talk to you like when we leaving the game, walking out, like really wish you were playing, like things like that. People would say stuff. So
that was like the little football booster
club.
I mean, not booster, but a little alumni.
Yeah. I remember those guys.
Right.
But they were like really disappointed, I guess. But
what gave me the confidence was Coach Carter, man, because you're right. A lot of people were coming at me like, man, you gotta, like you said, like even you was asking like, man, you might want to consider continuing to play. You know what I mean? But when I talked to Coach Carter, our basketball coach, he really gave me the confidence. Like, look, because he told me the same thing. He was like, look, man, you probably should reconsider playing again unless you really don't want to. And I was like, I don't want to.
And that's what it was for me, honestly.
Right.
You didn't want to, and I wasn't. Nobody's about to keep convincing me, and so like that's what it was. Me saying stuff to you was everybody else. I knew you wouldn't want to play. Honestly, going into high school, and then you decided to, because like you said, he sparked your interest, but that wasn't the plan initially anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you going back to this, it wasn't new to me, but everybody's telling me to talk to you, and I remember specifically asking Mike Perry, Coach Perry, as what we really called him at the time. Coach, I still call him Coach. He was asking, that was our Pee Wee coach. But he was asking me, we were in McDonald's when it was on Salem, I remember, and him telling me like he seen me in there and said, you got to talk to your boy. You need to, Justin, I'm telling you, like, going to the NBA is a great possibility. It's a great, but going to the NFL is a definite. And he was, and I was, how do these people see all of this? This is what I asked him. Like when they don't catch the passes most of the times. You know what I'm saying? He was like, Justin, all they see is a 6'8" guy out there with a left hand cannon that's accurate, and they thinking about the receivers that they can put with him. You know, that's all. And he put it in perspective for me where I really got it at that point. Like, I get it, but he don't want to. And that was just the bottom line. Like, you didn't want to. So after the Notre Dame situation, I remember that. I don't remember them coming at you in high school anyway, anymore about playing that hard. You know, that was, to me, that was a big move Toby was trying to do. He was trying to come with Notre Dame into this, you know, and you didn't budge, you know. And so at that point, football it's over for football. The career is over for football. So we go to basketball, and the progression through basketball, you know, in high school, you know, was always coming off the field onto the court. Like you already kind of touched on the fact that it was having you behind a little bit at first. And, I mean, I feel like you caught on pretty. Once you caught on pretty good, and you know.
Right. Yeah, it was a transition. It was always a transition each year. My freshman year, I was coming off a wrist injury, so I started the season off slow.
Right.
You know, my sophomore year is a big focus on football, so basketball wasn't even really on my radar. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was really
trying to get back. You was trying to get back to the field at that point.
I'm trying to have a big season of football. So the basketball season again was a slow start. And the same with my junior year. At the end of the day, so you know that my senior year, I really wanted to go in there and really put my best foot forward. You know, had that whole summer, fall to kind of really focus on hoops and try to get a good scholarship. And you know, I think for the most part, it worked out for me for sure.
I think you made the best decision for yourself, and it turned out to be the best decision.
Yeah, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for sure.
I was going to ask you, do you have any regrets on it? And that answers that right there. So, as far as basketball goes, though, sophomore year is when you play full-time varsity. And did you start sophomore year, or were you playing behind John?
Nope, started. John had graduated.
John graduated. Okay, our freshman year. Okay, so going sophomore year, you were the guy. You were the big guy.
Yep.
All right.
Me and Harif.
Yeah, Harif, yeah. And yeah, y'all was killing. What did you feel like the potential was at that time for you guys winning it all? It was a pretty good squad.
Yeah, I felt good, man. I mean, it was my first time really playing with them in that group.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they were always older. I always knew about them, but never had that opportunity to really play with them. So, you know, actually getting that opportunity to play with kids I've seen in front of me, you know what I mean, and play at that level, you know, match their level of play was a good feeling. And yeah, I was confident we were one of the better teams around for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then so from there though to junior year, I can't pick. I mean, it has between the junior year and senior year my favorite squads. I mean, those are the two same squad basically each season. But both of those teams, I just knew there was no way you could convince me from the beginning that we weren't going to state. You know what I'm saying? So, did that hurt? Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was for us for sure, and you was pretty close to us as well. You know, we had high expectations. Like you said, we all believed that we were going to state both of those years, and both of those years came up well short. Well short of that, but it, you know, it was something to, you know.
Well, let me ask you this then. Which one? And yeah, you said like pretty close to. Yeah, I remember going to Delaware, with the team and everything. Like I stayed connected to it. But I was gonna ask you, which one hurt more, the losing junior year or senior year to? I think junior year was to. Guy's name was Esther Camp, I think, and I can't. It was a Cincinnati team. Do you remember who they were? I can't remember the name of that squad.
Maybe Lakota or something.
It might have been Lakota. Coach Carter would know. I have to ask him. Clearly, you know. And then senior year though was the Springfield North, and that was a little more touchy because you got Eric, who was your, you know what I'm saying, it was your guy, and then y'all played at Madison Park together. You know, elementary. Eric could have easily been a Ram. Right. And y'all always thought y'all would have killed stuff. But they had Big Strodes, rest in peace, I do believe. He passed away, Big Strodes did. Yeah, and y'all killed them in the summer league. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, man. Yeah.
So which one hurt more?
I mean, they're two tough losses, man. I can't put one over the other. They both hurt.
Really?
At the end of the day, yeah.
Really?
They were both letdowns at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really say one was worse than the other. I know the first one was tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, my senior year too. I mean, it was.
I would have just thought. I asked because I would have thought senior year, only because there's not another shot at it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, for me, I knew I had more things ahead, selfishly and personally. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like, it ain't the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Lost, but you know, I guess I got a scholarship. You know, I'm going to Michigan State next year. So
right. So, all right, I'm with you. And so, just real quick, your decision to focus on basketball versus football that year really, didn't end up making it to the state, but it really panned out. And it, if anybody would have knew your mindset and what you were thinking, like it actually came to fruition because you ended up getting. I do believe it might have been Coach's Poll. I think they have Coach's Poll in Associated Press, but you ended up winning Mr. Basketball Ohio. So who's to say if you would have focused on that like your original plan was the whole time? Like what could have
right.
I think it all panned out and all went really well. But let's go here though. How did you choose to go to Michigan State? Like what was that like? Because you had a lot of schools, but
yep. So I first got recruited. I got looked at by Michigan State the spring season of my junior year. So after our junior year, I went to this tournament in Pennsylvania. It was like I don't know, just called some kids from the Midwest or whatever.
Right.
Put a team together. No practice. Went up to this place and played. And we was playing against this team out of Detroit that Michigan State was recruiting. Recruiting a couple of kids. Mike Chappelle was on that team who ended up playing with me at Michigan State.
Went to Duke at first, though, right?
Went to Duke first, and there was this other kid. What's his name? Winford Walton or something like that. I forget. He was like a top 5 player a year ahead of me. And so I ended up playing pretty well. Played really well against him. And Coach Crean was an assistant at Michigan State at the time. Tom Crean. He saw me and came up to me right after the game. Was like, "Hey, you know what I mean? I'm Coach Crean. Just want to let you know. I ain't never introduced myself, but I'm gonna be following up with you. You know what I mean?"
Okay.
And he stayed in contact with me throughout the summer for the most part. Got me to basically take a visit up there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when I went up there and took a visit, compared to some of the other schools I went to, I just had I don't know, something felt right. You know what I mean? Just had a good relationship with the guys, and I saw the way they worked and played, and I just saw myself being a good fit up there.
Right,
so.
right. So that's how you decided in your mind you was gonna go there. So let me ask you this though, because you didn't say this, so you don't remember this. You might once I bring it up. That's how it usually works with you.
Right.
So for me, for my memory, it came down to Michigan State for sure, and the other. Do you remember the other school? Let me ask you that you were considering.
I was looking at. Yeah, I remember my 5 schools. I had Xavier, I had Dayton, Virginia, and USC, but I never made it out to USC.
Okay, all right.
So
all right. So you said the school. We were at your house on Sunrise, and people wanted to know where you was gonna go, and you was kind of getting sick of that too. So you was like, fuck it. And you wrote down on a piece of paper, Michigan State on one piece, and you put Virginia on the other, and you gave them to me. And I put them behind my back, and you tapped your left hand, said the lucky left, and it was Michigan State, and then that was the final decision. Like that was, to me, that's always a story that I would tell because I remember that vividly. Like that's the day you decided, like clearly that you were going. I think you knew in your mind that's might be where you wanted to go.
Yeah, maybe that was the thing that pushed me off the ledge there for sure. But I'll take it.
Great.
I like that story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I remember it, man. And it turned out to be a hell of a decision. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your 4 years at Michigan State, you visited the Final Four 3 out of 4 times, won the Big Ten championship 4 times, and won a national championship 1 time.
Yep.
That's a hell of a college career, man.
Yeah, it was the best.
Yeah, that was a hell of a college career,
it was
man.
Nice.
Let me jump to Your first Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like, man? Was it different from all the other games that you had been in before? Was it just like?
Yes, much different than what we've been in before. We, coming off a season in the Big Ten, in the winter it's cold. It's we traveled. It was brutal, and that Final Four was like a whole nother place, man. I mean, we played in St. Petersburg, Florida. We stayed in Clearwater Beach, I think, or it was like the sands were white sands, and it was beautiful. We get to the arena. It was a baseball stadium, I believe. They had 40,000 people in there.
Yeah,
and, I mean, it was nice, man. It was really nice. That was definitely a memorable run for our group. You know what I mean? Even getting to the Final Four, winning
the first Final Four.
Yeah, winning that Elite Eight to get to the Final Four. You know what I mean? It was a big deal for us. So
yeah,
it was good.
Yeah. Before I continue with the tourney talk, it's still tourney talk. But did y'all win any Big Ten tournaments while you were there?
Yeah, I kind of get lost. I know we won at least one. We won a national championship. We won the Big Ten tournament for sure.
Because you'll win the Big Ten by having the best record at the end of the season, but then you got to go through the tournament.
Correct.
And so you think for sure y'all at least won one.
Right.
What about the Maui? That had to be the most that wasn't your favorite tournament, like, to be out in Hawaii, like.
It was nice, man, but you're on such restrictions.
Okay, you can't.
So little time to just go out and really enjoy Hawaii. You know what I mean? Like in them hot gyms and hotels, walkthroughs.
Right. So to the fan just looking, it looked like, ooh, man, that'd be fun. But to y'all, it's probably like.
Nah, I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Right. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. So, excuse me. So you go from. The first one, you said that was a hell of a run, and y'all won the Big Ten that year because you won it all 4 years. So, and that was a hell of a run. I remember. I'm at UC, and UC was dope. You know what I mean at the time.
Right.
But I'm walking around. You giving me gear and shit. I'm walking around with a Michigan State pullover. I'm going to hoop. So I got my Michigan State shorts on, and it's not like it's not noticeable because Michigan State's the other school that's really dope right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. I was hollering, man. I remember I would talk to the players. I would root for them. Like, I used to work the games at UC, so I would root for them like a month. But when it came to who was the best and who was my squad, it was Michigan State all day. Everybody that knew me at UC knew what I was on. So that was fun. I remember coming to a game down in Michigan State, and UC lost that night. And Mike Chappelle, I remember him. It was after the game, I think, and leaving out the apartment for whatever reason. Your apartment, I don't know what he was doing, but I remember Mike saying, "Just, you know what I'm saying, your boys lost tonight, And I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying. I remember that, but y'all would flip flop 1 and 2 type stuff,
Yeah, and the year we won, they were definitely. They probably were favorite. They were the favorites going into the tournament.
Junior year, yeah.
Yeah, our junior. That's the year we won.
But Kenyon got hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, he got hurt.
So, freshman year, because you came in Michigan State starting.
Not right away, but yeah, I had to do like 2 or 3 games. I earned the spot.
You earned the spot to start.
Yeah.
You never let that go, I don't think. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump to the sophomore year.
Sophomore year. So one thing you mentioned about our sophomore that was nice. So you said you was having a good time in Cincinnati, but we lost our first game in the Big Ten and won 15 straight. So we ended up going 15-1 in the Big Ten that year. That was our best record ever in the Big Ten.
Freshman?
So,
sophomore year. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's when we made it to the Final Four for the first time. When we went on such a run. I mean, yeah, we was that team. You know what I mean? When you win 15 in a row and you're basically run through your conference.
Right.
I'm trying to think. We had to have lost. We may have won the Big Ten tournament that year too. We ran through all them teams, man. We lost one game that year, and it was our best Big Ten record we had.
Sophomore year.
Yeah.
Okay.
We lost to Duke in the Final Four.
In the Final Four, yeah.
We lost to Duke. They had a good team too.
Yeah, Cash thought it was pretty funny because he's a big Duke fan, so he was you want
to bring that.
He wanted to bring that one up.
They lost. It ain't like they won it all. So I mean, it don't mean nothing. We all lost. We both lost.
Oh man, it was that game. I remember it just being a big deal for me. I remember I was supposed to go for whatever reason I couldn't go. I think my mom went though. And it would have been so cool because I think Magic Johnson was like sitting right in front of her. That's like the coolest shit ever. But anyway, it was a big deal to me and probably to a lot of other guys like me who know you, like, close homeboys type shit. And Elton Brand, I remember him being, he was a big deal, which, rightfully so. He was the man. But it was cool, like, to watch you get some buckets, you know what I'm saying, and play against this guy, that they hype up so much on TV, and then you're like, my nigga gonna get it, and you did your thing too. I remember you played well in that game, but you guys did lose, and they advanced, but they didn't win it all. So, whatever. Junior year, my favorite team, and I remember clearly me calling and me telling you, this nigga Mo Pete. Like, he on some bullshit. Mo Peach, it's my guy. But remember he had the cash, you know what I'm saying? I used to be like, man, that nigga with the cash, man. But he was and then I would probably turn right around and be like, man, that nigga be balling, because he would, like, it would just, I don't know, that ended up being, he was up and down because I think he was just getting used to it. But man, that was my guy. But junior year though, man, that was my, from a fan point of view, watching, when I look back on it, that's the one I remember the most, I guess, because y'all won a championship. But I just remember that tournament, man. I remember the Syracuse game and the Iowa State game, I do believe, with Pfizer, and they was talking so much stuff. What was that? Is that the same year?
Yeah,
that was junior year. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what can you tell me, like, your memories of those games?
Those were special games, man. We played in the Palace those 2 games. That was the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8.
That was good for y'all, yeah.
Yeah, which was good for us. I mean, we had like 90% of the fans in there was for us, which was huge. But it was good, man. It was some of my better games in the tournament for sure. And it was a special moment. Just kind of it was tougher than the Final Four. I would say that
those games were tougher than the Final Four.
Those 2 games were tougher than we ended up playing Wisconsin. We beat
who you were used to, right?
That was our 4th time playing.
Yeah, that year I remember. Yeah,
and then we beat Florida by 11 or 13 or whatever.
Florida, and they had Mike Miller. I think Udonis Haslam.
They had a good team. They had some good players for sure.
Got Harvey and what's the little
Harvey?
Yeah. Teddy Dupe. Yeah, that guy. I remember Mateen got hurt for a second and came back. Yeah, it was pretty dramatic, and it was really dope. And so now you're a champion. You know what I mean? Y'all don't want a national championship. Did anything change? Like, from being Big Ten champion, Big Ten tournament and all that, to being the national champion.
What, you mean going into my senior year?
Yeah, expectations or anything like that, like.
Not so much. I mean, not really. Our expectations were to repeat. To be honest, that's what we were thinking the whole way. I mean, we had some good freshmen coming in that year. We had a lot of guys that had been around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You were losing a lot of guys too.
Yeah, we lost a lot. I mean, we lost our heart and soul of the team for sure. But with the freshman talent that we had coming in, we felt like we can compete with anybody in the country.
Right.
And we had a bunch of other guys that had the pedigree. You know what I mean? We had already been there. We knew what it took. You know what I mean? We were still living that life. Nothing really changed from our training regimen. You know what I mean? What we was trying to accomplish. So, yeah, the whole goal was to repeat for sure.
Yeah, he damn near did it.
Yeah, we tried.
I always wondered that, like, did you guys feel like a lot of pressure because it was the Flintstones, like with Mateen, I think he's from Flint.
Yeah, Charlie Bell. Mo Pete, and Antonio Smith.
Yeah. There was the Flintstones, and you were losing 3 out of 4 of those guys. It was you and Charlie. And then you had Jason Richardson come in the next year, right?
Jason Richardson was a sophomore that year.
He was a sophomore that year. Yep. Okay, you had Zach and Marcus Taylor come in. Yeah, and you guys made it all the way back to the Final Four again.
Right. Made another run back to the Final Four. Won the Big Ten again. You know what I mean? We had a good run.
Had a really good run. Y'all lost to Arizona.
Got smacked. Actually, we came back a little bit, but yeah, they got out. They thumped us early.
I'm just gonna say this about the game. I don't really care how nobody feel about it, man. This my thing about the game y'all lost to Arizona was that you were supposed to have the ball. I think you had. Was it I honestly don't. I hate saying. I don't know if it was the first half or the second half. I think it was the first half that you was killing them. Like it was, or maybe it was the second. It was Lauren Woods that you were playing against. But you, or maybe it was the second half.
I don't.
You don't remember? I hate that I don't remember if you don't remember. But I remember you ended up having a good game. but I felt like you needed the ball more, and that was the reason why. But I'm, my relationship with you and what everybody else in the world might think might be two different things. You know what I mean? Like that's how I felt. Like, man, get Dre the ball. Right. But I was still like very pleased. I don't know. Like y'all's plan was to repeat, but I don't know if everybody thought y'all were going to repeat. Right. Because of losing so much. So I was like really proud of the team. I thought y'all did a really good job of getting back to where y'all got to. And if y'all would have won, that would have just been amazing. But it was still a great season.
Yeah, it was. It was. Personally, it was a letdown. I mean, it was a big goal of mine. Mm-hmm. That was one game. I never even looked back at that game again. I just remember it wasn't pretty.
Right.
That's my only thoughts, remembrance of it. But yeah, it was a letdown for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, it was on to the next. At that point,
got to move on.
Got to keep it moving.
They had a nice squad too. They had Richard Jefferson, who went on to have a pretty decent.
Yeah, Richard Jefferson, Gilbert
Arenas, yeah.
Lauren Woods. They lost to Duke, who had Shane Battier and Jay Williams.
Yeah,
that's who we really wanted.
Yeah, right.
From losing to Duke a couple years
ago,
before.
You wanted them back, right? Right. Yep. So, all right. So, college is over. You know what? I wanted to ask you this though, because it was rumored. In college that they would ask you to play football. Did they ever ask you to play football while you were there?
I did. Going into my senior year, I believe it was. It was my senior year. Nick Saban had just left. Nick Saban was the coach of Michigan State.
Right.
Yeah, he was the coach of Michigan State, and he left and went to LSU, I think, at that time. Mm-hmm. So we had this other coach, Bobby Williams, first black coach of Michigan State. Good dude. Really good dude. I think he's with Saban now.
Okay.
But he asked me to come out and try out, be a walk-on at the quarterback position. They had a
Smoker.
Yeah, Smoker ended up being a quarterback. But and he was a freshman at that point, but it was kind of an uncertainty, you know what I mean? And I actually think they had some other guys playing too before Smoker, but Smoker ended up getting a nod at some point. Yeah, he asked me, he's like, yeah, man, I think you got a good shot. Why don't you come out here and throw? I was like, hell no. He's like, you better not.
He wasn't on it.
Yeah, he wasn't on it. He's like, man, he said, come on, man. You a senior. What you really trying to do? You know what I mean? You trying to go play some games, you trying to get to the league.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so
right.
Don't even play with that.
Nah. So that was
So they got nixed real quick.
Right, real quick. So wasn't on it. So all right, speaking of the league, draft. College season's over. You had a hell of a college career. You went into the NBA draft, bro, at a time where they were taking it seemed like high school, coming out of high school was just a thing to do. Mm-hmm. Which I thought from the beginning of noticing that was pushing you back, because you played 4 years in college. Do you ever regret not leaving like maybe a year sooner or something?
I mean, it's hard to know. I didn't know that going in. I mean, looking back, it's like, yeah, I really got caught up. I got caught up in a bad year, for sure. I think they had like 4 or 5 high school kids go out.
Yeah. Early.
Top 10, 15 picks at my position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that.
Did Kwame Brown go number 1 that year?
Kwame Brown was number 1. They had Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, Ed Curry. Yeah.
Them was the top 3 picks. You know what I mean? Like right out of high school. So, I mean, it is what it is. They were exceptional players too, by all means. But
no, I get it. It just to me,
it wasn't expected. When I'm going through my college experience, you know what I mean. I'm looking at kids that I'm playing against. You know what I mean.
Right.
I'm kind of measuring myself up against.
Right.
That level of competition, thinking, okay, this is my chance and this is my shot, and then
you got these high school kids coming in, and they was taking them. I mean, scared to miss out on the next. Young guy coming, so they were taking him early, and to me,
now I was gonna say nowadays you hear more about these kids.
Yeah.
Back then it wasn't like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like these scouts were out there seeing them, but it wasn't like ESPN was covering these kids every couple weeks or whatever.
So what was the preparation like getting ready for the draft or like not even like draft night, but like getting ready, like do you like going around trying out for teams and all that? Like how did that all pan out?
It went good. It went really good. I always had good workouts. I think I ended up having like 12 or 13 workouts. Man, it was a lot. Flying all over the country to different teams, getting a little 1 day, 2-3 hour workout in to kind of show what you can do. Usually they would have like 3 or 4 guys coming in. I always had good workouts. There was a couple of teams I thought, I may have a good chance to get in the first round. I was pretty hopeful, but But the crazy thing is, those high school kids that we mentioned, they were never at any of my workouts. You know what I mean? It was always other guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
To be honest, those guys rarely worked out. You know what I mean? When looking back, looking back on it now, I understand why, an agent or whatever, somebody may do that to a kid that age who may not even be ready.
Right, don't want to go show them that you're not ready.
Yeah, you don't want to put them in a bad position. They already got the hype and potential.
Right.
But again, it was something I didn't see. So I didn't even see them kids. Like, so for me, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm doing my business. This team's gonna need a person in my position for sure. I gotta have a chance of getting drafted potentially here. You know what I mean?
Right.
As the draft process went on, it wasn't. At one point, it's just like, man, I hope somebody called my name. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was getting pretty deep into the process. So.
Yeah, I can never put myself in your shoes. I really remember that night and going to me and Golf. Shout out Golf. We went to BW3s because I remember you wanted to be with the family. You know what I mean? You just didn't want to, immediate family and that. Right. So I didn't come over intentionally. I went down there and I was coming like right after they announced your name, and so I never was able. I haven't even never asked you this about putting yourself in that moment, like in the shoes, like sitting there hearing these names called, waiting for your name to be called. Like, how did that feel? Like that whole thing.
Yeah, I can't. I don't remember it that well, to be honest. There's so many things that happened in my life. It was kind of another stage, to be honest. But I do remember waiting and then not really, once the first round kind of went through, it was kind of like, okay,
And you in your mind, you expected for somebody to call you during that first round.
Yeah. I had high hopes, I guess.
Yeah.
High expectations based off my workout.
I was gonna say not just but based off of the work you put in.
Yeah. Based off what I did, nothing unrealistic, but
right.
Things my agent was telling me, things of that nature. But regardless, it's a lot. It's NBA is tough, man. People are very critical of guys in the NBA for one, which is crazy.
Right. Right. That actually get in the NBA
right, and actually even make it. But yeah, it was tough. Once I got through the first round, I think I just kind of kicked back with the family, and we just kind of just kind of hung out. You know what I mean? They really paid much attention at that point.
Right.
I think my agent called me and said, "Don't worry. Somebody will pick you up. Just don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Let it go." So I kind of went on with that mentality. Like, if I get drafted, great. If not, I'll have my shot. You know what I mean? I'll still get a shot. And so
you're still gonna get a shot regardless. But you end up getting drafted. You got drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, I remember second round. You went to Milwaukee Bucks. I remember, and I was excited and came over there, and we all hung out, kicked it that night, and celebrated. And it was time to go to work after that. And so it never really probably did put on a uniform or a jersey at some point, but I dare say you never even got to even put the jersey on before. Next thing you know, you calling me, and you always probably knew well before you told me, but you called me the day you was getting ready to leave and came over, and I remember I had an interview to go to work this same day, and you came over to get me, and we chilled and chopped it up in the middle, chilling and chopping it up for this little minute. I'm thinking some regular stuff. You tell me you about to go to Italy, like today, like you about to leave. Go what? That's how I remember that, man. I'm like, man, so that's when that happened. How did that feel? Like, what was that? Now you did the draft, and you end up going second round. Lower than what you expected. Cool, though. I'm in here. You know what I'm saying? Bet. And then now you gotta go to Italy. Like, what was your thoughts? Like, what did you think about that?
Yeah, that was a tough moment as well. I think when I got drafted, Milwaukee had already envisioned me not being on the team that year.
Oh, so they already knew, you think?
Yeah, they already knew. They had no intentions of having me. I think I was the only pick they had that year, which was a late second round pick. I think they had 14 players under contract. You were only supposed to have 12 at that point.
Okay.
And so they were basically telling me, they would give me some money to come back the next year, but they didn't want me to come to camp because they couldn't keep me. They had no room. You know what I mean? So they were better off. I was better off just going overseas. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I basically had that option, or I could play it out and go to camp and make them cut me. You know what I mean? And maybe get picked up by another team.
Right.
But I had to make a quick decision.
Right.
And I think that's when I think my agent was like, man, it's his job in Italy, man. You might as well take this. Milwaukee said they'll give you this next year. And I was like, all right, man.
Right.
This is what it is. let me go grind it out 1 year. You know what I mean? What's 1 year? You know, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what's 1 year? Let me go knock this out and.
Right, I got you.
Know, so that was kind of that.
All right, Italy was that. It just sound like that would have been the most interesting place to play at. Like, was that your favorite out of the places you played overseas?
Yeah, it was a good time. I would say it was my favorite. I probably had the best time in Greece, Athens, which you came over.
Yeah,
you came over there. So.
I can attest to. I know why you had it. That was an awesome experience, man. I tell people
nice
all the time.
There. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. But Italy was nice too.
Yeah,
Italy was nice too. It was an adjustment. I think my first year over there, I played with 5 Americans, and they were some vets. You know what I mean? They schooled me to some game. A couple of them had been in the league for a while, so it was good to get around some of those guys and get some knowledge at an early age in my professional career.
Okay. So before we jump too fast through the overseas career, because you played how many years overseas? 10?
9.
9 full seasons overseas. Okay, so from Milwaukee to now Italy, how'd y'all do? How'd you do individually too that first year?
I actually had a really good year up until close to the end of the season.
Got hurt,
and I got hurt. Had a stress fracture in my tibia. So I left early, came back to Milwaukee, spent a couple months up there.
Because that was the plan, right? Was you go over here for a year and you're gonna come back to Milwaukee? They still had your rights.
Yeah, they had my rights. They guaranteed me money. They gave me a guaranteed contract for the next year.
Right.
Basically, so they had my rights. So I came back. Once I got hurt, I told them, like, look, you want me to stay over here and you're gonna, let me come back and heal up so I can, be ready for the team next year. So that they did. They brought me back and performed the surgery. First surgery, and unfortunately, it was the injury itself took longer. My recovery took longer than I needed to.
Okay, okay.
So by the time the next season was started, I was still
recovering
at that point, and they had three draft picks that season. Other free agents trying out for the team.
So it kind of put you behind the.
Yeah, it just kind of put me back. So.
These are the politics that people don't really understand. Know about some guys that happen in the league. Different little things that their stories and how they happen. So did they? If I'm correct, they traded your rights to Indiana. Right.
Yeah. They basically said. I mean, they knew I couldn't go to camp. I couldn't really participate. They knew what my status was, and so they traded my rights to Indiana. Getting traded to Indiana, they really didn't know my history like Milwaukee did. You know what I mean? So,
Did you even get to perform or play for the coaches or anything at Indiana?
Yeah, I did. So I did try. I actually did go to camp at Indiana, tried to perform. You know what I mean? But again, I was just still,
you wasn't even right.
I wasn't even. I was still 2 months out. Really, being out, they saw that and they just let me go.
Yeah, that was the first time that had probably ever really happened to you, like right.
Yeah, that was my first time being cut and being released, like, not having anything at that point. So this is like the basketball, the next season is starting. I'm back here at the crib. You know what I mean? Like I was here for at least 3 or 4 months, still recovering. Still doing my rehab.
I remember, yeah. And
so
then
that was a tough time for me, for sure.
Yeah, no, I remember. And so, Isaiah Thomas, I think, was the coach at the time too. Yeah, Isaiah. Yeah. So, but anyway, so Indiana, you got the rights got traded to Indiana, and that was the first time that you got cut and you're recovering, and then you get a call and you end up once you're healed up, you end up going back overseas, right? Now they had already started their season, right? Right, so you go join a team, and what country was it this time? Was this?
This was Greece. This was my first season in Greece.
Okay.
I think I went over there maybe February. I think I got cleared to play like January, something like that. So I went over there for the last 2 months of the season. There was one team that maybe lost a player or needed to pick up a player at that time, and so I basically got a couple months in, and I actually finished up pretty strong, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because now you recover, right?
Yeah, so I'm recovering, playing well, and I think I came back that summer, played summer league.
Yeah,
in Utah, I believe. I had a pretty good summer league. They wanted to bring me back to camp, but I got a solid offer in Greece again.
So you chose that?
Chose the money over. Went with the for sure.
Right, versus going to take the chance.
Take the chance again, yeah. So, that's kind of how that story went.
Do you ever regret that decision at all?
Yeah, I've looked back. I mean, I've thought about that before. I mean, I probably should have, potentially taken that chance. But again, coming off an injury, I really didn't know. And to be honest, I got hurt again that season.
Mm-hmm.
That same stress fracture came back, so I had to have the same surgery
again.
Right.
Well, and regret. I can't speak for you, but I wouldn't. I don't think you should regret or even think that you should have went there. Like, just because I know how everything turned out. You know what I'm saying? You had a hell of a career.
Yeah, I'd say regret for sure, not a regret, but do I look back as an opportunity?
Like you could.
Maybe. Yeah.
I got you. I feel
potentially
that.
For sure.
I feel that. So that was the year I came though, right? Your second year in Greece. I think that's when I came out there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that year you played. Did you play a full year that year? You say you got hurt that year too.
I did play a full year, but I got hurt at the end of that year.
At the end of that year, so after I was there, okay.
Yeah, I played through it. I took some time off.
Mm-hmm.
Took some time off to get ready for the summer league. Played through the summer league again, but I was hurt.
Well, you were hurt in the summer league.
Yeah, I was. It was a bad summer for me. And so I ended up going overseas for like a few months.
You played for Utah again,
right?
Yeah, that's when they had Paul Millsap. Mm-hmm. That was his first go around,
right?
And he ended up for a while at Utah. He became the man at Utah.
Yep.
Now I remember that you were hurt that summer league though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that summer league goes by and then now you're going back. So where'd you go this time?
Went to Russia this time.
I never understood that.
Yeah, that was all about the money.
Yeah. Never. Why it's cold? It's got to be cold as Russia.
Yeah, they were doubling my contract.
So
up there, so I'm like,
I'm gone.
No-brainer.
Yeah.
And I knew to be honest, inside I knew I was hurt. You know what I mean? So
I
didn't know how much longer I was gonna be. How much longer I go on this leg. So
right.
I think I got half a season before coming back.
So it was a smart decision. Yeah,
and deciding to have surgery again to fix the problem. So.
Oh, okay. You said that's where you discovered hookah.
Yeah.
Was overseas.
Over in Russia.
Yeah.
They had them everywhere.
Yeah, and because I used
to always wonder, like, what are they doing? Because they had them in the bars and, just like going to a normal bar and they just sitting at a table smoking hookah. I'm like, what is that?
Right.
They didn't really speak English, but I figured out it was
How was that, man? In all the countries you went to, like the language barriers, like how did you adjust to those things?
A lot of countries spoke, it wasn't too hard to adjust. Greece was great. You came to Greece, it was easy to adjust. People were awesome there. But, there were some countries like Italy and Turkey, Russia, you just had to figure it out, man.
Istanbul, yeah, that's where you played at.
Yeah.
You told me that was a pretty nice country though, right?
It was a good experience. You know what I mean? I don't say it's a nice country, but it was a good experience.
Okay.
Istanbul is an amazing city.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Biggest city in Europe, I think 15 million or something like that. So
yeah. I tell people all the time that the best experience I've ever had was as far as vacation was going to Greece because it's so eye opening. Like if you go across that water and see just a whole different culture and I remember us riding and me saying to you man, why they keep looking at me? Like I'm thinking they staring at me in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like he like, man, they looking at the car. And we was riding in like I don't know what you had, like Camry or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't nothing extra special, but to them that was really nice. You know what I'm saying? Like so I remember that, man. Like, and I always thought that was a really dope experience. I think we went to the Acropolis, which is like the second highest point in all of Greece or something. But it's said to be ruins that were in existence before Christ. It was just a hell of an experience, So I thank you for bringing me over there, man, because that was really dope, and I'll never forget it. So from Greece to Istanbul, you done played in Russia. Let me ask you, what was where'd you have your best years overseas? Like where do you think you played the best at? How far did you ever go over there? As far as like, did you ever win a championship? Did you ever play for a championship or all-star games or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I had some all-star games and won a couple European Cups, and I didn't I had a decent career. over there for sure.
Yeah.
My best year was probably, that year coming off my first surgery. I played at a high level.
That's when I came.
Right.
That makes sense. That makes sense because I remember Dante Jones, who used to play for Mississippi State, I think.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah. If you talk to him, man,
he was with me my first year. That's why I was saying.
Italy.
Some vets like him. Yeah. He was in the league for a while. He
played for New York.
Yeah, for the Knicks. So
yeah,
he was a good dude.
But I remember we were walking and shopping somewhere in Greece, and he told me, "Don't let you fool me." I always talk to you about your humility. And he was saying that you were being humble. Like, man, he is the man over here. Like, he was over there really getting it in, and you was really balling. So that kind of, parallels what you're saying as far as that being, like, one of your best years.
Yeah. I finished strong, too. I mean, once I got through my second surgery and got my legs back right, the last, 4 years of my career over there, really dedicated to being over. I just kind of said, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
That's what I was going to go. That's what I was going to go with it, yeah.
I'm going to make the best of this. And I actually got on some high-level teams and, made some good money and had some good years, too.
Right, because there's different levels of basketball over there, like different leagues that are a little better than others, right? And so you end up playing for the better ones. And that's awesome, man, because you basically made a decision at some point to – you're not going to keep coming back over here attempting to do the summer league and go to the league when you're just going to go with the guaranteed thing you got going on overseas, and you built your career over there, which I think was a smart decision, and I think you did a hell of a job, man. I really do.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So what's 9-year career, man, and I think, like I said, I think you did a hell of a job all the way from a youngster up until now. You got 2 kids now, and I know that they're both. Does Sydney still playing?
Yeah, she hooped too.
Yeah, she's still playing. You got 2 kids in sports, and I remember growing up for you, and I meant to touch on this earlier, how important education was. Because I remember moms didn't play. About them grades. You wasn't. You get a C, you ain't playing.
Right.
So like, how hard do you do you go hard with the kids like that?
Yeah, I gotta say I'm not as hard as my mom was on me, but I don't have to be because Morgan is my wife.
Okay.
She be on them. Like it's the same. They still got the same rules I had coming up.
Okay. Right. You ain't got to be the enforcer.
I'm not always the one enforcing it.
Right.
I mean, she gets on me about that too. But
right.
Our kids they pretty smart. They get lazy. You know what I mean? When they get lazy, it slips. But but yeah, same standards.
Yeah. I think it was awesome, man, because, you graduated from Michigan State, obviously, finance degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a finance degree. I think she did a great job, shout out moms, with setting that foundation in you early. Like, it was important. I know to her, and I think it became important to you to make sure you got those A's and B's and kept those good grades. And I think it's all worked out. And my point is, like, so from moving on from basketball after basketball, I think that education that you received helped you to be able to know what to do with the money that you earned and things like that. Right. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
Yeah. So talk to me about what's Complex. That was Conquest. I said Complex.
Yeah,
Conquest. Yeah. What you got going on, man?
Yeah, Conquest. That's my gym now. I've had that for what we going on? Almost 10 years, 9 years now.
Yeah,
9 years. Yeah, it's been up and down.
I know COVID. I mean, we talked about COVID kind of hit you a little bit.
Yeah, COVID smacked me in the face. I had to shut down. I had to shut down one of my facilities, but we rebounded really well this year. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's starting to get back on track, and
that's cool.
I think people are starting to come around to getting back to normal to
right.
some degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is definitely helping the business world. You know what I mean? The small business for sure. So, that's going well. I still got my construction management company. I've had that for a couple of years now, and that's going well. Got my basketball program, my travel basketball program. That's grown. Boys, youth boys and girls coming up through that. And
what's that called?
Quest
okay.
basketball. So I try to brand everything. I got my gym Conquest. So I branded my basketball team Quest.
Right. It makes sense.
Just keep that name out there.
Makes sense.
Especially around my area, you know what I mean? It's a draw. It's an attraction. So
Hey, man, I love it, man. I love everything that you got going on. You know, I'm in full support of anything that you do. And I told you a long time ago, man, when you put your hands on something, it usually turn out to be good. So I never question it, you know. So keep doing what you do, man. I really appreciate you doing this interview.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man,
no doubt.
it means a lot, man. Thanks a lot. I'd like to give you a shirt from S.Y.S.M, and I made sure I got the
Go green.
You know what I mean? The Michigan State colors, man. You know, so
yes, sir.
You know, maybe one day if people really start checking for me, we get popular, they see you with that on, man. You're gonna be the man. You know?
Yes, sir.
All right, man, my guy, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Y'all make sure y'all treat everybody the way you want to be treated. Keep God first, and make sure you check for S.Y.S.M. Everything will be all right. Peace. S.Y.S.M, 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 S.Y.S.M. S.Y.S.M, 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 S.Y.S.M. S.Y.S.M, 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 S.Y.S.M. S.Y.S.M, 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 S.Y.S.M. Keep that shit real.